Joe Ingles was a hell of a player.
He still is playing.
Well, he's close to retiring. Like right now, he's playing just sporadic minutes, but he was legit in Utah.
But when he's playing, he's doing things at his own speed, and he's still like scoring in the NBA and making assists.
In 2019 World Cup, witnessing Joe Ingles playing for Australia, he's the biggest trash talker I have ever seen live, like being close to him, because
non-stop talking.
Lithuania-Australia game, he's trash talking all the time. One of our players went down to tie his shoe, so Joe Ingles came up and untied the other one.
Wow.
Like just randomly, and started laughing in his face. I don't remember which player from Lithuania that was, but he looked at him like, what?
Incredible.
What is happening here? And he's always talking. They played France, so Gobert was his teammate in Utah at the time, and the first few possessions, Joe Ingles got Gobert on a switch and buried a three-pointer. And so he was just screaming at his face, Defensive Player of the Year? Really? Really? I mean, wow. He's an incredible dude.
Yeah, I understand that. Every time the broadcast shows him on the TV, he's talking.
He's always
so
talking.
I can imagine what
he's
like
always.
in
He
real life.
never shuts up. Whether it's a timeout with his teammates or like somebody's shooting free throws, he's talking to opponents. All the time, he's talking. I guess it's kind of annoying for some, but probably you want to have him on your team instead of playing against him.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, welcome to URBONUS podcast. Today, we're here in the studio again without our main host, Donatas. He was watching the Greek derby with Gytis there, doing some work. I think today they're making some content that we will see in the upcoming week. Me and Rytis are going to have a Q&A episode. The full episode is available only for the BN Plus members. You can sign up on basketnews.com/plus. There you can find not only this Q&A episode, but a lot of other additional content under our paywall. And today we're going to talk about the Greek derby, our reactions to it, and we're going to answer your questions that you send us over on YouTube community, on Twitter, basically everywhere that we posted the question post. So, Rytis, before analyzing the derby that we saw yesterday, that Olympiacos won after an intense battle, I wanted to ask you, what did you expect from this game before watching it? And did those expectations become reality?
I expected actually what we witnessed, like a battle on the court in great loud atmosphere, two teams with defensive mentality facing each other. I expected a low-scoring game. I mean, everything that I expected was there to see. I expected some big plays. I expected to see Shaq McKissick's wife screaming, "Let's go!" I mean, I saw all that. Everything that I wanted, that I expected, I saw that. I couldn't really predict who's going to win, though, because right now these two teams look so evenly matched. I'm just really happy that after 2 or 3 years, we finally have the real Greek derby. Because let's be honest, in the past few seasons, only one team was elite, the other one was behind. So yeah, it was intense, it was great, it was entertaining. Because usually, if you say there's a low-scoring game, one team scores under 70, the other one close to 70 or above, you're gonna say that was trash. Because so many times you see those games and you just say that it lacks quality. It's not like in this case.
It's like having an NBA game finish under 100 points nowadays.
Even under 90, like you would say it's trash, man. It lacks quality. What's happening here? But in this case, it's anything but that. I mean, it's a low-scoring game because both teams were fighting, not because there was a lack of quality. So I really enjoyed it.
And the first possessions were the best
the very
example
first
of
possession,
what we are going to see in this match.
I wanted to say, like Jerry and Grant in the first few possessions, the energy with the energy, how he started the game defensively, pressuring Thomas Walkup, it was insane. So you could sense from the first few possessions that it's gonna be like this for 40 minutes, and yeah, it basically was that with a lot of ups and downs. Both teams making runs, and let's maybe dive into it.
And like even you mentioned Duran Grant in the first couple of possessions. Olympiacos in the first possession forced a 24-second violation, on the defense, and I was like, okay, yeah, you can expect that. Olympiacos both and Panathinaikos are top 5 defensive teams in the league by the eye test and by the the defensive rating, the advanced stats.
Yeah,
and you could feel that. Panathinaikos scoring 9 points in the third quarter. Olympiacos with 7
in the first.
But okay, Olympiacos came out victorious, and probably the biggest reason was quite a surprising one, because Moses Wright had an amazing game. He didn't miss a single shot from the field. He was 9 of 9. He played only 15 minutes. He finished with 19 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 22 PAR index rating, +8 when he was on the court in those 15 minutes. What did you think about his performance? What impressed you the most?
Yeah, I think it was amazing. Like in the first quarter, Panathinaikos defense forced Olympiacos to dribble the ball more than they want to, because they're known for passing, not dribbling. So in the second quarter, Bartzokas went with his, let's say, second unit. And I think 2 guys that actually gave them a lot of energy were Shaq McKissick and Moses Wright. And the N1 play against Lesor for Moses Wright, I think that's what got the team going and got the crowd going. Because Olympiacos were chasing Pau, they were getting closer and closer. And with that N1 play, if I'm correct, they tied the score.
I believe so.
And he basically showed to Matthias Lesor that I'm here. Now you're going to face me. Now I'm going to do my thing. And yeah, I mean, he's a gem like that Olympiacos found in the middle of the season, or even in the second part of the season, you could say. So if none of those injuries happen, who knows? Maybe Moses Wright would still be playing in Turkey right now. He's rolling to the rim. He's finishing above the rim. He has so much physicality. And he fits this team perfectly, because Olympiacos in the past, they always had this, let's say, rim runner type of center.
Exactly.
They always had a guy like this. They had Kyle Hines. They had Otello Hunter. They had Brian Dunstan. They had similar players, let's say. And this season, we saw them with a lot of post-ups, with foul, with Milutinov. So Moses Wright brings them something different, but I did not expect him to be so good in his rookie season, joining the team in the middle of the season, not just any team, but a team that is actually fighting to be in the Final Four. And right now he's a game changer in the Eternal Derby. That is impressive, I have to say. And Moses Wright is slowly becoming one of my favorite players in the league.
I think one person that definitely expected Moses Wright to be good was Eric McCollum on this spot, saying, he is going to be a beast. He is going to be the Matthias Lesor of Olympiacos. And now Moses Wright did all that basically against Matthias Lesor. And he scored 11 points in the first 5 minutes and 33 seconds on the court. Then he had that amazing run in the fourth quarter. Not only, rim rolling, that, that's what he does best, but also those ISO face-up plays against Matthias Lesor.
It doesn't even look like a mismatch, but he just dominates.
Exactly. Yeah. He's just showing off his skill, and I'm like, okay, Moses Wright. I didn't know you like that, in the EuroLeague context. So he was amazing, and I think this is one thing I mentioned before in our podcast, that he gives Olympiacos that defensive versatility. You mentioned that they always have this rim rolling center, and rim rolling centers usually are the ones that allow you to switch.
Yeah.
And with him yesterday, and to be honest, with Mustafa Fall, this was I think strategic move by Yorgos Bartzokas. They were switching all screens with Kostas Lukas. They were not doing that with Kendrick Nunn. They were not doing that with Jerian Grant. They were not doing that with Marius Grigonis. But with Suliauskas, to eliminate his possibility of driving to the rim and kicking it out, they were using the switching defense. And to have Moses Wright, to have Mustafa Fall, they were basically limiting Suliauskas in the best possible scenario because they know how good he is against the other defenses.
Yeah.
And how much worse he is against the switching defense. Like, even against the drop defense of Walter Tavares, Olympiacos before, in the seasons before, they were really good because of Suliauskas, because he is such a great pick and roll master. But when you switch, it gets hard. He finished the game, I think, with 7 points.
7 points and only 2 from 7.
2 of 7, and I think only 2 assists. Not more than that.
Free assists.
3 assists. Definitely,
But it's below his averages, way below his average.
Yeah, and I think, as I mentioned, this was a great, plan, great choice from Yorgos Bartzokas from Olympiacos, and definitely it helped that they know this guy so well. I don't know, what did you think about Suliauskas' performance and his comeback? Of course, it's not the first game, but still.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Basically, the message from Olympiacos was, if we're going to lose this game, we're not going to lose because Suliauskas is cooking. So we're going to make Kendrick Nunn the decision maker. And even though Kendrick Nunn was scoring, you cannot say he had a really good game because he had so many deflected passes, turnovers.
7 turnovers.
He finished with 7 turnovers. So the plan was to make Kendrick Nunn the primary creator for Panathinaikos offense instead of Suliauskas. Because the switching defense, as you said, probably forces Suliauskas to play one-on-one, and that's not his game. Mm-hmm. He's a pick-and-roll player. He can kill you with his mid-range shots, but he didn't get too many opportunities just because he always was there against Mustafa Fall or Moses Wright. So that was part of the plan defensively, and I think it worked. I think both teams done some good things defensively. So yeah, I agree with you that for Bartzokas to prevent Suliauskas from getting his numbers, from controlling the game was huge.
And just to add on that point about switching defense, I missed Panathinaikos feeding the ball for Matthias Lazor in those situations. And I saw one instance where after it was second time or third time, I don't remember correctly, he doesn't get the ball inside after a mismatch. And you know how well he's sealing his guys inside. And he's like, come on, man, give me the ball. He was, after the third time, you're not giving him the ball. But it was not Suliauskas' fault. It was just the whole team's fault that they're not looking or they're not brave enough to pass the ball inside and to punish those switches. So I think Panathinaikos could have done a better job at this switching defense. And I will be really interested to see, in the playoffs, if some teams are switching against them, how are they going to deal with it? Because they cannot be they cannot rely only on guards playing one-on-one or just driving. You need that inside presence. And, we see Lazor can post up smaller guys. Lazor can post up players of his size. So they need to look more, I think, for Matthias.
At the same time, I have to say there aren't too many teams that are that good at switch-all defense as Olympiacos is. Because they're always prepared to help, to rotate, to do all the right things. Because some other teams, basically they defend in a simple switch-all defense, like all 5 players are switching, but it's not that they are really prepared for, let's say, the second or the third phase of the possession to send help. And Maccabi is a good example, for example. They're switching all the time, but
they have the worst defense.
They're not on the same level defensively as Olympiacos is. Although if you look at the players and the profile, when you have a point guard like Wade Baldwin and a center like Josh Nebo, it seems like the perfect players for switch-all defense. So yeah, that's one thing. And should we move on to the third quarter run? It was just a short part of our full BM Plus Q&A episode. Today we were answering questions about EuroLeague MVP conversations. We were picking the best players from the Balkans. And we were discussing who would be a better fit for Olympiacos, Mike James or Evan Fournier.
If you want to see all of it, please join BM Plus community.